Sup? As promised, another video this week. Just a reminder, these videos are going to come every week on Saturday until my brain cries. Last time I talked about Tokyo Ghoul, but this time I'm going to delve into the lives of Japanese high school girls. That's right, it's about shoujo. Let's get to it.
どうか Please can you keep my secret?
So over the last few months, I've been reading a lot, and I mean a lot, of shoujo. Mainly because I get super tilted from playing Valorant and I needed the stress. What better way to distress than to watch stuff meant for Japanese high school girls? Before I get into our topic, let me quickly go over the different age groups that Japan targets. There are 4 different categories and each are particular to a certain age and gender. Shonen is targeted at teenage boys, Seinen is for young adult men, Josei is for young adult women, and Shoujo is for the people who wouldn't talk to me in middle school. While there's a lot of different kinds of shoujo, I'm going to focus on the one I like the most, which is particularly romance. Now, why would a 23-year-old man enjoy romances that were meant for young girls? It's because I'm a big old bitch. Let me articulate more. There's a sense of satisfaction and comfort in romance. Romance itself is finicky at best. How do you know if a person likes you? How do you know if you like a person? What even is love? These are questions you ask yourself as you grow up. The idea of love is such a foreign concept that is introduced to you early on in life. You see that your parents are married, or you see family members with their SOs, or you see a couple share a kiss while grocery shopping. As a kid, you first think, "What the heck? Don't these dum-dums know about cooties? Flatten the curve, you bozos." Yeah, I was an annoying kid when I grew up. You don't really understand what it's like to like another person. Your mind at that point just doesn't have the capacity. As you mature, you find out more about yourself, the world, and about others, and in turn, you eventually develop this capacity. However, it's not a simple formula. A lot of this growing is done in our prepubescent times, particularly in junior high to high school. But hey, I'm no love guru. I'm just a weeb that likes 2D girls. I don't understand a single thing about love. But that's kind of the point of romance in media. Yes, it's embellished and dramatic as hell, but there are some truths in the story. Bringing our focus back to shoujo, again, it's a category of manga and anime geared towards this young teen female demographic, which has the biggest effect on how they view romance. The initial premise of each series has to be a little crazy to garner some interest, but it's actually the connections and the relationships, the conversations and the arguments. It's the characters dealing with the problems that pulls me in. And how can you just not squeal when the MC and their love interest just finally get together? Just me? Party of one? Fine, take my man card. I don't even want it anymore. Let me get into the nitty-gritty of what makes shoujo romances so enjoyable for me. First, what draws a reader or watcher into a series begins with an interesting hook. In shoujo, that could mean the main character asking a boy to be her fake boyfriend to show off to her friends, or that there's a delinquent that has no friends and no business with school, but meets a girl and starts to realize that there's more to the world than just being an ass. While I don't really relate to these things, they do create interesting plots and put the characters into situations that wouldn't occur in normal romance stories. I enjoy my fair share of outrageousness, and it's usually executed in a way that doesn't take away from the main pulling point. The relationship of characters and how they interact with one another is just so different in shoujo than it is in a typical series, say like in shonen. Shonen characters are pretty easy to read and understand. That's because boys are dumb, and we need to have it broken down on an atomic level for us to understand. On the other hand, girls are complicated, and so are relationships. The complications that come with relationships can be relatable to anyone, even if the situation isn't. People like people, but communication is hard. Conveying the right feelings properly and with the pressure of potential failure, if it all goes wrong, is scary. But that's what love is. It can be a gamble. You can see the deliberations of these girls in these series as they consider what they want with their love interest. And then throughout the story, you can see the chemistry between the main character and their love interest grow organically, and over time you start to root for the two. As you ride along, third wheeling every walk home from school, you can see how the relationship evolves past that initial premise. One thing I really appreciate about shoujo is the fact that when the two main interests get together, they don't end the fucking series! And then we get to see the problems of being in a relationship, and that's not all just sunshines and roses. Couples argue, they go through rough patches. Being with the person you love isn't always going to go well, but by weathering the storm and working out your problems, you can gain so much more. And it's awesome to see that. But enough of that lovey-dovey learning to better yourself shit. Sometimes, shoujo is just so goddamn cute. Adorbs. It literally makes me want to go ooh and henlo. Like, check this shit out. When two people share a moment with fireworks in the background, or when the tsundere boy shows off his caring side, or when someone has a fever and the other person just happens to be there to drop off some school handouts and then stays the whole day to make sure they're okay. They even got love for side characters, man. Love is literally everywhere in this series. The guys are cute, the girls are cute, everyone's fucking cute. It all just hits different, dog. I mean, I'm all for hype stuff like but like, I also start whooping and clapping when shit like this happens. When you start seeing progress for the couple you're rooting for 20 episodes, it's literally one of the greatest joys a group of weebs can experience. I don't know, man, this stuff just releases a combination of chemicals that nothing else can. And now that you understand a little more, I'm just gonna gush about my favorite shoujo series. I was first introduced to Kaicho wa Maid-sama by my girlfriend about a year ago. I was skeptical at first since I was still on a shonen craze, but god damn is Usui fucking hot. I don't care if he's borderline stalking, I would have his babies without question. And who better to complement this elusive and secretive character than with Misaki, a girl who's 100% honest. The juxtaposition of these two personalities and how they learn from one another, combined with the fact that they basically have the superpower to do anything they want, is just the right amount of crazy hijinks and romance for such a popular shoujo series. I recently read a series called Last Game that I wish had an anime adaptation. Out of all the shoujos I've been reading, this one somehow came out on top. It's surprising to me, at least, to find a shoujo that has the male lead chasing the girl. It's also mostly set in university, giving it a different vibe from high school stories. It's a really simple shoujo, but also feels very natural to me. I probably liked it due to my boy Yanagi trying so damn hard for Kujo. He chased that girl for over 10 years. Respect. The last series I want to mention before I finish off here is Fruits Baskets. It's a classic. It's got that crazy initial premise to draw you in, but keeps you watching to see how Honda can affect all those she meets with their gleaming personality. Even though the problems of the Soma family are odd, their feelings about their situation still feel relatable. As Honda tries her best to help the members of the Zodiac, it shows how friendship and family can impact anyone's lives. Unfortunately, I'm an anime-only viewer, so I haven't gotten to the end yet, but so yeah, shoujo is the shit. Don't let the fact that it's targeted for high school girls push you away. Get into shoujo. Start shouting when couples are made. Prepare your hearts when they melt away at the cuteness and the fluffiness. I literally scream into my pillow when someone gets kissed or confessed to. Sometimes it's more hype than your typical shonen series, honestly. Shoujo is love. Shoujo is life.